Hi, and welcome to Campus Mortgage, the mortgage industry's leading provider of underwriting, processing, quality control, servicing, and closing training. Before we get started, please take a moment to read Campus Mortgage's disclaimer and keep in mind the information contained in this video is time sensitive and subject to change without notice. Now let's get started. Today, we will be discussing part one of a three-part video series, which covers the differences between Fannie Mae's cash out and limited cash out refinances. Throughout the video series, we will cover the definition of a limited cash out versus a cash out refinance. We'll go over the delayed financing option as well as refinance to buy out a joint property owner, and also Fannie Mae's student loan refinance program. First up is the limited cash out refinance, also called an LCOR. LCORs are Fannie Mae's version of a rate and term refinance. The loan amount is generally going to be limited to the total of the outstanding balance of the existing first mortgage, plus any closing cost and fees. Most common purposes for an LCOR is to lower the interest rate or improve the terms and amortization of the mortgage loan. So if you have a borrower looking to possibly go from an ARM to a fixed mortgage, then they could look at the LCOR options. LTVs on the LCOR typically are higher than what you would get on a cash out, and they can go as high as 97% for a limited cash out refinance. LCORs are used to pay off the existing first mortgage lien, so there has to be a lien that needs to be paid off when you're doing an LCOR. You can also pay off a subordinate lien, a second mortgage on the property when you're doing an LCOR, but it's important to note that any seconds being paid off must be purchase money seconds. So in order to consider the transaction a limited cash out refinance, any subordinate liens being paid off must be documented as purchase money. So they were used to purchase the home. There is a small caveat to that. If there are additional loans, not necessarily liens, because they can be secured or unsecured loans, that were used exclusively to make energy improvements to the home, those can also be paid off on an LCOR. So if you have a borrower that took out a loan to maybe get some solar panels put in, or they have a PACE lien on their property for those energy improvements, they can get those paid off with an LCOR. It's important to make sure that properties are not listed for sale when doing a refinance transaction. Kind of goes without saying, right? Lenders don't want you planning on selling your home if you're refinancing it. So you want to be cognizant of that. And then lastly, the LCORs are not intended to provide cash to the borrower. So you want to be cognizant of your loan amount in comparison to the total loan cost. As we all know, things happen at the closing table, so there is a caveat that Fannie Mae allows for some incidental cash back to go to the borrower, and that is limited to $2,000 or 2% of the loan amount. So other than an LCOR, we have the cash out refinance option. And this is, as the name states, it allows the borrower to actually get cash in hand. The amount of the new loan will exceed the amount needed to pay off the existing mortgage debts, plus any closing cost and fees. So with all refinance transactions, you can roll the closing cost, prepaid expenses, any points and fees into your loan amount. But the cash out refinance allows you to pay off any debts that you want to pay. So not just your first and a purchase money second. You can do a cash out refinance to get cash in hand, to take out equity on a free and clear property if you want to do some debt consolidation. So you can pay off credit cards or medical bills on a cash out refinance. And because the proceeds from the loan are a little bit more or less restricted than an LCOR, they are considered a slightly higher risk loan. So your loan to value ratios are lower than an LCOR. So if you're doing a cash out refinance, you are typically going to be limited to an 80% LTV. Some things to take note of when doing a cash out refinance is that the borrower must have owned the property for a minimum of 6 months prior to the new loan closing. So you want to make sure the borrower didn't purchase the house a month ago and now they're trying to take cash out, right? There are some seasoning requirements when you're doing a cash out refi. However, there are a few exceptions. If the borrower inherited the property or they previously owned it via their LLC or a trust, they are allowed to do a cash out refi if they've owned it as an individual for less than 6 months. There is another caveat to that 6-month exception, and that is the delayed financing option, which we will get into in greater detail in the next series. Delayed financing allows the borrower to do a cash out refinance on a property that they have owned for less than 6 months, but there are some specific caveats to that. And that concludes part 1 of this 3-part video series. For more tips, videos, and for a full list of courses offered by Campus Mortgage, please visit our website at www.campusmortgage.org. Thank you, and as always, make it a great day.